Hello and welcome back to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I'm Rajanae Hill, and thanks for joining us this evening as we continue to delve into all the cool things happening here at UCM. Speaking of, Jacob Clark gives us a scoop on a new robotics club here on campus, and we hear from Ray Walters, an engineer at KMOS, about his show, Wicked Awesome Stuff. All this and more, starting now.
My name is Israel Bonds, and my major is Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Tech, 2 minors in CAD and Manufacturing, and a certificate in Robotics and Automation. And I'm the president of my campus's first Robotics Club.
The University of Central Missouri is home to many organizations and has new clubs forming every semester. One new organization to the UCM campus is the Robotics Club. We attended one of the Robotics Club meetings to find out more about what the newly formed club is all about and what members do within the organization.
I would say the club stands for like a deeper knowledge into applied engineering, I guess, because this would be considered like in the category of STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. So this would be more of like an applied, hands-on way for everyone. Because I'm engineering tech, a few other people are, but if you don't want to completely switch your major, say you're a CJ major, you don't want to switch everything just to build robots, you know? So it's kind of like an open option for anyone to gain experience in STEM.
Right now we're having a Robotics Club meeting, and we just all get together and we work on our own projects. Right now I'm working on this with a friend, but everybody else is working on their own different things. Right now I'm building, it's called a tumbler. We don't really know what that means or why it's called that way. But we just have a book that we're using, and we follow the instructions in it to build it. We don't have very much background knowledge, so we're kind of just using the manual to learn how to do it.
I am in Grinstead today to program robots and make my ping pong ball launcher work. This right here is the motor that will control this gear, make this one spin even faster. And I will attach a piece here that will hit a ball, and it'll go right out there. This button will be what starts that process.
I didn't even want to start the club, honestly. I just wanted to compete like at a collegiate level because I had never done it. I was like, I see all these competitions everywhere. I think I could do better than these other people. But in order to be in the competitions, you have to represent your school. And I couldn't represent my school by myself. So I had to just start the organization. And then luckily everyone that joined was like, oh yeah, I want to compete too. I competed in high school and middle school and so on. So that was that. We have not competed yet. This is our first semester. All competitions start in the fall, and then they lead all the way up until April, and that's when Worlds happens. So the best of the best, it's like the Super Bowl. I guess I'd say I got started in robotics just wanting to understand how things worked and wanting to replicate how they worked my own way. So it's like, I know that this remote control works with like infrared or something, but I want to try to make it like 2 infrared or with no infrared just to see my options, you know, and then that just kind of led me exploring into other areas, and I was like, wow, this is pretty nice, pretty neat.
I joined the Robotics Club because as a professional pilot major, it's really nice to have some sort of engineering background, and I'm not really into aircraft engines, so this was kind of a neat alternative to get some of that engineering experience doing something that also interests me because I like doing different programming activities.
I was looking online at all the extracurricular activities available at UCM, and I saw robotics, and I was like, that looks awesome. So yeah, this is quite similar to my degree program because there's a lot of programming involved in making a robot function, and that's what I'm learning in computer science, a whole lot of programming and making the computers work, making these robots work. It's similar.
I would tell anyone interested to, if you're interested enough to just come and just start exploring with everything that we have, because you can never learn too much, you know what I mean? You have trial and error, and that's where a lot of my stuff's come from. For my personal ones, I'm like, oh, does this gear ratio work this way? Nope, I gotta redo that. Does this mechanism fit this thing? Oh, it doesn't. So if you have the interest and the spark, just apply it. Just take the 2 steps forward and start. I have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so if you just see me walking around, I'd say just say, hey man, I want to join the Robotics Club, because I have flyers around with my email and I think phone number up. If anyone wants to come to a meeting, it's going to be in Grindstead 006 at 4. Right now, we'll probably just be 4 to 7, but if you have a project that goes longer than your 3 hours, then I don't mind staying till 8, because I mean, I have nothing to do past this. So.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Jacob Clark.
Hi, I'm Ray Walters, and this is Wicked Awesome Stuff.
Here at KMOS, we have many local productions, from shows like Lowdown to Show Me Ag. But the newest show in our local production is Ray Walters' Wicked Awesome Stuff. With the first season wrapped and aired, we sat down with Ray and asked him a little bit about the behind the scenes of the Wicked Awesome show, like what Wicked Awesome Stuff is about and how it started.
So Wicked Awesome Stuff was born out of this idea that I've had for a long time, and it's a very simple statement that nerds run the world, right? Nerds make really cool things, and my co-producer Eric and I, we really wanted to create a show that highlighted things that are being created, experiences you can have that you might not get in everyday life. You know, anything from a robotics competition that a high school joins, to 3D printing, to being in a human hamster wheel. We wanted to highlight things that show how much cool stuff is being created, the ideas that people have, and really bring it to a demographic that is a little bit different than normal on PBS. You know, we have our kids programming, we have kind of older adult programming. We wanted something right in the middle of that covers a broad swath of people that they can be interested in. It started out of an idea that Eric Bodeker and I just started talking. You know, when I started working here a few years ago, he and I worked on our PBS website together, and we became pretty good friends. And through that time, we were just talking about how cool it would be if we made a show that could go to like a gaming competition, or highlight really cool board games, or take a look at, you know, like I said before, 3D printing, or these technologies that might not be covered, but people that are doing really great stuff with it. And so I said, I would love to see a show like that. I would love to create a show like that. And Eric said, me too. And it was just kind of born out of that. So we just kind of threw some stuff together, threw it against the wall, talked with, you know, the GM here, and kind of came up with the idea for a pilot. And we shot a pilot at Tabletop Game and Hobby, and had a great time doing it. Loved it. Really great reception from a lot of viewers. And the station decided to go ahead with a full season. I believe that ideas you have in your head are great. You know, you'll wake up, you'll have this idea will come to you, and then if you work in a vacuum, that's a bad thing, right? Because you're kind of yelling into an echo chamber, which is yourself. I had this idea, I think it'd be really great, I want to do it, and you start creating it, and other people are like, why are you doing this? This is not maybe a great idea. So my habit has become over the years to really try to bounce it off other people, and Eric Bodeker was the first one I did, because we share very similar likes and dislikes in gaming and geek culture, I would say. And when he thought it was a good idea, it kind of just blossomed out of there and talking to other people. So it definitely was not done on my own. You know. It was kind of surreal, because one of the things that I learned was there's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, I had been a digital media production major in college, and I had switched out of it and became a minor for me. And so, you know, much like students are here, you're a one-man crew, a one-woman crew. You go out, you shoot it, you edit it. And I remember the work that went into that, but creating something for broadcast on an actual PBS station, there's a lot more that goes into it. And so when we were done our 6 episodes, I was like, man, that was a chunk of work. It feels great to be done, it feels accomplished, because we did it with such a small crew. And then at the end of it, it was, I hope we get another one, because I don't want to stop doing this. This is really cool, you know. Yeah, we are doing a season 2, and we're excited about that. We got the privilege to do so. One of the things that's cool about it is that we took what we learned in season 1, what we would change, and we're able to apply it. And that's what I really like about this environment here at KMOS and UCM and PBS in general, is that we can take it, we can look at it, kind of dissect it, say, hey, we can do this better. And that's a good thing. It makes the content better, the show better, and the production better. And so season 2 is underway. We're getting ready for our first shoot here next week. And we're going to be airing the next season this fall, so I'm excited. One of the key things for me in doing Wicked Awesome stuff is the interaction with the students at UCM. UCM students make us, it's the reason we're here, right, the university. But when a student comes along and you see a student get excited, things are working out well, and they start throwing ideas out, and they start getting involved and feeling like they're part of the production, I get really jazzed about that. You know, for me, that's a wicked awesome thing to see, because I feel like when you have interaction from students and you get ideas, I feel like they almost cease becoming a student and they stop being part of what you're doing. That's a very important thing for me. So I'm really excited about that with this production.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Jacob Clark.
I love the mule skinner. I love it. I love my job. I love it here. Love it all. Yep, I'm loving life here.
The University of Central Missouri is home to thousands of students. Among all of those students is Denise Elam, a digital media production major and editor at the Mule Skinner newspaper. We sat down with Denise and asked her about what influenced her to come to UCM for journalism and more.
I think what led me to come to UCM to study journalism was my interest in journalism. It sort of happened in high school. I was a co-editor-in-chief of my high school's news magazine and also the yearbook. So originally I was going to be an English major because I just love writing, and I didn't really know that we had a journalism program, but I found out later that we do. It's the digital media production program with an emphasis in digital journalism, and I'm just so happy that I picked it because I don't just get to study journalism, I get to study how to create audio, video. I'm learning how to be a better journalist, both like with multimedia, with digital journalism and everything like that. I picked journalism because I genuinely believe journalists, they get to know everything. They get to learn about every aspect of media, of everything in life, really. As a journalist, you get to talk to people from all over. You get to talk to people in different disciplines, in different like areas of life, and really get to know them on a personal level and to just tell their stories. And I think that's why I love journalism, is because as a journalist, you're a leader, you're a teacher, and you have a really profound effect on the community. Being the lifestyle editor at the Mule Skinner, I really get to meet a lot of contributors. I get to help them with their stories, with their editing. I get to brainstorm different newsworthy pieces for the Mule Skinner. I think as a lifestyle editor, I get to have a little bit more fun than other editors. Like, I love reporting news, but there's just something about reporting people's stories and the features part of the job. For instance, I got to interview our school president, Chuck Ambrose, after he had his bicycling accident, and it was one of my first big interviews here in terms of like how well known he is on campus, and it was over an hour long, and it was just me sitting down talking with him, and then I had to write like a story out of an hour's long worth of just information, but it was so much fun, and I got to tell it like a storyteller would instead of Chuck Ambrose was injured in a bicycling accident. It occurred. I got to like start out my story by talking about how he was like kneeling down next to a tree, wondering, like waiting for someone to come by to help him. I don't know, it's just, I get to report in a fun way, and that's what I love about being the lifestyle editor. The Mule Skinner is really relevant to my degree because I get to copy edit, I get to report, I'm out there every week. With the newspaper industry changing as it is, yeah, there's still a need for print, and print is still really important, but we're changing every day, and I've learned how to report digitally now, how to include photo, video, audio into my news packages and my lifestyle packages. So yeah, I think that's why it's relevant. I think at UCM the opportunities are kind of endless in a way, and that's cliche to say, but I think it is what you make of it. And so I got to go abroad and I got to cover the speech and debate team. I've been able to study abroad twice actually through the university. I studied media and culture in London for a summer, and it was amazing. That's one of the reasons why I came to UCM also, was their really good study abroad program and support. I think UCM offers a lot of variety in the courses, especially the DMP department. Not only do I study video classes, I've studied screenwriting, I've studied communication and theories of communication, just to help me become more well-rounded in a lot of different disciplines. And then also I studied creative writing, and that has just helped me improve as a writer and a poet, I guess, at UCM. If I could say one thing about my staff here at the Mule Skinner, it's that they're difference makers. They're mover and shakers. They're gonna have so many things ahead of them, and I'm really excited to graduate and just take all that I've learned here and put it to a good use elsewhere.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Jacob Clark.
Chris always tells me, "Caitlin, stop yelling at me," and I have never yelled at him once in my life, and it's just this funny back and forth bit, I guess. And he's the one that talks to squirrels, so he doesn't even have room to talk.
With many papers going online, there is now a need for video content to be posted alongside written articles. UCM's own Mule Skinner has adopted this format and has Caitlin Brothers to thank for their video production. We sat down with Caitlin and asked her what got her started in digital media and the Mule Skinner.
There was a lot of reasons I chose to be a digital media production major. I think the first reason and foremost was that I, in high school, was in vocational tech school program for 2 years, my junior and senior year, and so we got to go to what was called Waynesville Career Center for 3 hours a day, and I was in video production / broadcast journalism program there, and we learned about how to do news, how to do video packages, how to do short films, broadcast. I mean, we learned everything. So I think just being in that and getting all of those skills in high school, I decided to do this major in college, and I chose journalism beginning of my junior year because I started contributing to the Mule Skinner to do video stuff, and I did some writing, and I guess I just fell in love with journalism. The multimedia editor involves a lot of stuff, but the main part is I get to make video packages. I try to do at least one a week. Some weeks it's 2 times a week. I go to an event, or I do some kind of feature story, video package, or I do an ICE Central, which is where I'll have a reporter and we'll do a man on the street, and we go ask random students just random topics. Another part of my job is to work with the website and the Digital Bird email, so I have to go through the emails and do obituaries, like post obituaries, and rewrite some press releases and send out the press releases to whoever needs them here in the Mule Skinner. I also have to work with contributors if they want to do video stuff. As a freshman, I started to contribute here, but then as a sophomore, I got an internship with Western Missouri Medical Center. It was on the DMP Facebook page. I applied and I interviewed with them, and I actually got it. And Joe Moore was surprised. He was like, "You actually got this internship?" And I told him all about vocational tech school, and that's kind of how I got it from past experience, because he didn't think I was ready, but then he was like, "Okay, never mind, you're ready." And it was really cool to do that. I was their first digital media intern ever, and I got to do some videos for them and some Photoshop work. And then that was my second semester as a sophomore. I did the backpack journalism trip to the United Kingdom with Julie Lewis's class with Denise, and we followed the debate team around when they did their tournament. And we got to do video packages and some written stories over some cities in Scotland and in London, and that was amazing. And then I did a little bit with the 48-Hour Film Festival. I was an actor in one of those. So working here is really fun and I love that this semester we got a lot of new positions, like the social media position, and we have 2 sports writers. I mean, our staff has been really great, and here it's really fun, but it's also really great experience here. Right now we're submitting stories for awards, and so fingers crossed that I hopefully win one, and that's just something to add to your resume. So working here has been really great for my future. Over the last summer, we got emails that were saying, you know, this isn't going to be a paid position anymore, and and he was like asking us, will you stay on? And I told him, I mean, yes, of course I'll stay on, but it was gonna be really a tough challenge because I was gonna have to get a second job possibly and try to work 2 jobs and full-time school. And I was really upset because that was like going to be my first semester actually working here, and I was really excited to be paid to do what I love here because I had been a contributor and stuff. I feel like if we weren't paid, it would be really hard to like have us work as hard as we do. We do definitely work more than what we're paid for, I think most weeks, but like I think it'd be really tough because then we'd have to get other jobs, you know, like multiple jobs, and it'd be hard to like keep up with our stories and whatnot. I appreciate UCM and all the opportunities that they've given me. I mean, they give us all these opportunities, and I go for things that I always think, oh, I'll never get this, I'll never go to the UK, I'll never get this internship, I'll never. And when I applied for this job, I was like nervous, oh, I'm not gonna get it, someone else is gonna get it. But then all these things happen, and it's been really great for my future, and so definitely have UCM to thank for that.
Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Jacob Clark.
The University of Central Missouri's Theater Department kicked off their first play of the semester in Black Box Theater with a cabaret performance called The Gap Project.
The Gap Project was directed by Kip Niven, who's our Meredith Harmon guest artist who came in to put on this cabaret for us. And GAP stands for Gershwin and Porter. So it was a collection of these 2 major musical theater composers from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s is when most of their work was being created. So it was a study in classic music theater and a David Craig technique, which is a technique for acting through song.
Located in Nickerson's Residence Hall, the Black Box Theater's unique seating arrangement allows for those gracing the stage to have a more personable connection with spectators.
But in the Black Box, what's really unique is that you can sit completely around the actors. So for the performers, it's a totally different experience because the audiences can see all different sides of you, and you have to be aware of yourself in the space totally differently than on the Highlander. But for the audience, you can be so much closer to the actors or to the singers or to the dancers, so it's very intimate.
I really like the Black Box a lot because I feel more like in touch with my character or whatever performance I'm giving, and it just gives a lot of opportunity for a different style of performance.
It challenges you to be really, really honest, and you have to be completely prepared and really fine-tuned. Your performance has to be really crisp because there's not really hiding a whole lot when the audience is right there in front of your face. So it challenges you to be on the top of your game. And it also, another advantage is just that for the actors who consider themselves really emotional performers who pour a lot of their heart into what's going on, it gives this like really unique, exciting feedback. You can feel the audience because they're so much closer. So for the happy songs, they feel even happier. The sads feel even sadder, just because of your like physical relationship with the audience.
The Gershwin and Porter project, known as GAP, was a unique experience for both the audience and performers due to its laid-back approach of theater.
Well, the first feedback that I got was from my parents because they came opening night. And I think that performance style is something that's new to people. People see musicals and they see plays and they see characters, so to see somebody perform as themselves within the context of a musical theater song kind of allows people to connect meaning to my personal life because they know me as Grant.
It's a more relaxed setting. It's not a musical, but like what we did, we all just sat down in front of the audience and everyone can see us, and we would just get up when it was our turn and go perform our song. And we weren't being a character, we were performing as ourselves, which was really nice. But it's just a more relaxed setting of a show, and it just kind of presents a theme like what we did, GAP, so Gershwin and Porter. And it's just a fun night of singing and maybe a little bit of text that was spoken, just kind of describing the theme of what is being performed.
Kip was very adamant about everyone knowing what they were singing about at every possible moment. And having somebody sitting in the audience that you could sing to, not necessarily somebody who was in that audience tonight, but somebody in our own life or experience that we could attach all of these meanings to. And it just keeps you really, really grounded. Like I said earlier, like it makes you really sharp, and you have to be very aware of what's going on. You can't just go on autopilot. You're just actively giving these thoughts, emotions, and feelings through song. So it was, and that's personally where the most rewarding performing comes in play, because you feel like you're connected to something, and you're really telling a story that like makes a difference and people can resonate with.
If you are interested in future productions the theater department will be hosting, stop by Martin Hall and take a look at the postings of events on their bulletin outside of Highlander Theater. Reporting for Lowdown, I'm Ranjanae Hill. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left tonight. But do not fear, the show in its entirety and individual segments can be found on our KMOS TV YouTube page. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Ranjanae Hill. Good night.